like a duck.
I feel like a drowned rat.
I don't know how many people saw our video. We was trying to explain why we were late coming on the air, but man, it come a monsoon over here, and Lee and I, we had the canopy all the way down. We were hunkered over all the electrical stuff trying to keep it dry, but it was crazy, man. I mean, we've still got water standing on the field out here, probably an inch deep. And Lee, ironically, we missed two coaches' interviews, and I apologize to Coach Eddie Woods. I sent him a text, but I don't think he went through, but I'll call him a little later. And, of course, Coach Creasy, he wasn't coming out here and joining us, that's for sure. But we do have a crosstown rival on the phone with us, Coach Will Kreisky. Coach, did you get all that rain over your way, too?
Yeah, it's still raining here a little bit. It came a downpour about 5-10 minutes ago, and it's been a steady rain ever since.
Well, how much you think that's going to affect your game tonight? We got water standing over here.
It's not standing. Our field's in pretty good shape. It's not standing yet, so we'll see how much longer it comes to downpour. But I don't know if it'll affect it too much. You know, they got a lot of speed. They got a really good running back, Jabril Wilson. So hopefully, maybe it'll slow him down a little bit.
Coach, obviously you just mentioned it. You know, you had a tough loss last week against Oakland, but you know, I'd say family bragging rights this week is probably a bigger stake as your brother Matt and the Centennial Cougars come to town. Would I be correct with that?
Yes. They're kind of battling some of the same things we're battling this year. But both teams are coming along as the season goes on. You know, headed into week 6. You know, you watch them on film, and they're very similar to us. So it's going to be a tough battle. It's going to be another 4-quarter ball game.
Well, Coach, obviously we've talked about it. We're over here at Oakland. As we mentioned, you had them last week. Do you feel this Oakland team is good enough to make another run deep?
Yes. As long as they stay healthy, I don't see any reason why Oakland or Blackman, from what I hear about Blackman, that you know, one of those teams should be playing in December for the state championship game. Both of them. You know, Coach Creasy does an excellent job. They had a great game plan against us, and they're just so deep. You know, I mean, you can't just look at any position. You know, you say you try to attack their weaknesses. I don't see a weakness on that team.
Right.
Well, Coach, you know, you mentioned Jabril Wilson, your buddy's, your brother Matt. This team's coming over. Probably one of the best mid-state players I think that you may see tonight. Is stopping him? Would that be the priority tonight? I know their quarterback's playing really well also.
Yeah, they got a quarterback
From last year.
And get him running the ball and get consistent and just getting in that rhythm with him. And Drew has done an excellent job for us this year. We've put a lot on his shoulders, and he's stepped up and taken it to the plate, done a really good job for us.
Mike Motor and Lee Teat joined by phone with Riverdale Warrior head coach Will Kreisky. Coach, junior quarterback Taylor Yancey, he came in last year, I think, when Souffrant went down, I believe, maybe week 2 or week 3 with the injury. How much is that extra time he had behind center last year helped him lead this offense this year?
Well, it's helped him tremendously. You know, you had a lot of if he wouldn't have got all that playing time last year, you would have had a lot of question marks and doubts, and we know what he can do. Mm-hmm. Now he did lose a lot. He was the only returning starter coming in week 1 against East Nashville due to, you know, the heavy graduation of seniors, and
right.
He had two injuries up front on the offensive line. So he was the only returning offensive starter from last year, but he's done well with what he's got, and him and the guys have gelled together. And it's taken some time for us to get going, but, you know, that's what happens. It's part of football and part of rebuilding and getting things going, but they've done an excellent job this year.
Well, Coach, speaking of your offensive line, you know, you just said you graduated so many seniors off that 9-3 team last year. How have your starters performed so far up front, and are you settled in on a rotation?
Well, we're starting to. We had a guy, Jared Russell, who played an excellent game against East Nashville, and he ended up finishing the game, but come to find out he had a broken leg, so he's been out since East Nashville.
Wow.
So, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we had another guy, our center, Terry's MCL, ACL 2 weeks ago. So, you know, you say they're starting to gel, but injuries has kind of got us. But guys have stepped in and played up front like they're supposed to do. And, you know, it's kind of the next man up mentality.
I think probably the biggest problem, from what I can tell as an outsider, your defense has struggled some. I think you were able to force some turnovers in that Spring Hill game a couple weeks ago. But, you know, what area do you feel probably needs the most improvement, you know, if you guys are going to be able to get off the field and you know, on defense? What areas do you think is most lacking right now?
I think we just need to get more consistent in the secondary. I think our defensive line has done an excellent job stopping the run. Our linebackers have played well. We just replaced all four guys in the secondary, and I think they're getting better every week. They're doing what we ask them to do, and we're rotating six guys back there, and they're learning each other and learning the system, and it's just taking some time for them to gel and come together.
Well, Coach, you've already went up against two of your former coaches this year in Donnie Webb and Kevin Creasy. Which of those guys do you think your style of coaching most resembles?
Oh man, it's tough. I take a little bit from each one of them.
Really?
You know, Coach Webb has done an excellent job. He's kind of got that blue collar, bring your lunch pail, hard hat to work, and I think that's what these guys do over here at Riverdale. But then, Creasy, he's very aggressive on defense and attacks, and that's what we like to do over here also, and just kind of get your athletes in space and let them play. So, I've kind of taken. I can't just pinpoint one of them. I got a lot of respect for both of them, and try to get a little bit from each coach that I've been around.
Gotcha. Hey, I got another question for you. In what ways do you and your brother Matt, who you're facing tonight, what ways are y'all different in your coaching philosophy?
That's tough to tell. To be honest with you, I've never actually worked with Matt or been on the same staff as Matt, but I think we have a lot of similarities. We demand discipline, respect, and we want guys to play hard. So be honest with you, it's kind of tough for me to answer that question. I think we're a lot similar than we are different, being identical twins and, thinking the same way. And you hear him talk and I talk. We share a lot of the same things. And,
so you've been lying to him all week?
Oh, of course.
Bill Kreisky, you're on the phone. Coach, getting back, kind of talking about some future games. I know you're focused on Centennial tonight, but you guys, I think you finish out the season with 4 straight region games. Of course, too much to them, but
play together. I think they're sitting by the teepee. They're bringing their own chairs and go sit by the teepee so they don't have to sit on the side.
Non-committal, huh?
Yeah,
I would have demanded they sit on my side of it as coming to my stadium, Coach.
Yeah, well, I think as long as they're sitting by the teepee and the grandkids are happy, they'll be happy.
That's right.
Now, you and Matt, you guys graduated from Henry County, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, Coach Counts is having a really good season so far. Have you guys been able to keep up with him any?
We've been able to text a little bit. I got to talk to him some this summer, but we've texted, and he's really excited. He's got a really good football team, and they're doing well, and they're going to be able to make a run toward the end of the year as long as they stay healthy. I know that place shuts down. It'll be shut down tonight. I think they play Kenwood.
Mm-hmm.
When it's football season, everybody stops what they're doing, and they pay attention to Henry County Patriot football.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, I wish you luck tonight, buddy. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you got a lot of preparation to do, but we appreciate you taking time to jump on with us.
Thank you. Try to stay dry out there, though.
We'll do it, buddy. Y'all do the same.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right. Thanks, Coach. That's Coach Will Kreisky, Lee, and you've heard me and you as well. We've mentioned, there's so many really good young quality coaches here in the mid-state, and I think Will and Matt are, well, if you look at it this way, Lee, if you've got a huge 6A program, and what are they, 30, 31,
they're
somewhere?
In their early 30s.
Yeah, I mean, if you are already climbed to the level of having a program like a Centennial and a Riverdale, obviously, you've done something right.
I think so. He's just battling an injury bug has got him this year. Graduated everybody last year.
Tore him up.
Been a little bit of a tough run for him, but I tell you what, the coaches will get better from it. He'll get better from it, and the players will get better.
Yeah, no doubt. I totally agree with that. Well, Lee, let's go ahead and take. I know we've only been in this briefly, but let's take a quick break here. We've got Charles Rathbone, Page's head coach, and we'll get him on. This is the Friday main event. Mike Mulder and Lee Teat, and we'll be back after this. Hello, Friday main event fans. We are coming to you from Oakland High School this week as the Oakland Patriots host the Blackman Blaze huge Region 3 showdown. This is 2 top 5 teams in the state of Tennessee in 6A. Should be a great game. We're really looking forward to this one. Our coaches lineup for this week, we'll get things started with Cane Ridge head coach Eddie Woods. He'll be joining us at 4:30. 4:45, I got a firm maybe from Coach Kevin Creasy, Oakland. He should be hopefully on the set with us at 4:45. We'll follow that interview with Will Kreisky, head coach at Riverdale. Coach Kreisky battling with his brother Matt tonight, since should be an interesting topic of conversation talking to Coach Kreisky. And, of course, we'll finish that interview up and go straight into Page High School head coach Charles Rathbone. And Page, surprisingly, playing very well. They lost some key ingredients to that successful team from last year, but they remain solid. Only one loss so far. Look forward to talking about his Duck Sports for all the Oakland Patriot games on the Ducks. So we'll have Gary on with us. He'll be picking big games with us. A lot of big games on tap for tonight, so we'll be discussing all the big games. Always, the show is brought to you by CoachT.com. We appreciate everything Jim Thompson does for us here on the Friday Main Event. I think we're in week 6, guys. The season is halfway over officially. I try to go over our preseason top 10, see what kind of changes, if time permits, what kind of changes we're going to update to our preseason top 10. Some flops and some surprises. Coming to you from Oakland High School, Mike Motor here. Always my buddy Lee T to be joining me. We hope you guys will make the Friday Main Event your official stop each week, 4:30 to 6:30. Again, YouTube, Friday Main Event. All right, we are back here, Oakland High School, getting ready for the. We definitely got. This is your 7th season, I think. There is head coach.
And then adding on to that, and Paige been able to
Program.
match up, and the guys you mentioned do that.
Yes, sir. I agree.
So I think this area.
Love, buddy. All right, that's Coach Charles Rathbone Lee. I think he does an excellent job over at Page. I remember. I think he had a pretty serious illness there before last season, and Coach McCurry was actually the one that made me aware of it. And I was texting Coach Rathbone, checking on him. But fortunately, hats off. What a great job they've done.
Well, I think going forward, he definitely is going to need Walker healthy.
Yeah.
We saw him over here in that jamboree, and we were very impressed with that young man's ability. I think, he does need to keep going forward. I think he'll probably be very careful with how he handles him going forward.
I think good ball team over at Page, and good leadership behind it. I think they're going to do well.
I do too.
Well, Lee, let's go ahead and take a quick break right now, and we'll get back. We'll go. Gary Deering may be here. I'm hoping he is. He may decide to stay in the car a little bit longer with the weather, but we'll get into big games. A lot of big games across the state, and I felt kind of bad that how you been doing, so I put a few cream puffs on the schedule, so kind of help you out this week.
Thank you. I need them. Last week was rough.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't. If I'm ahead of you, and I don't even know I hadn't added up. If I am, it ain't by much. So. But it's been a crazy season so far with games. But we'll pick some big games. There's a lot of them for tonight, and we'll go ahead and jump into that. But we'll take a break here right quick, and then we'll come back and do that. Hello, Friday Main Event fans. We are coming to you from Oakland High School this week as the Oakland Patriots host the Blackman Blaze huge Region 3 showdown. This is two top 5 teams in the state of Tennessee in 6A. Should be a great game. We're really looking forward to this one. Our coaches lineup for this week, we'll get things started with Cane Ridge head coach Eddie Woods. He'll be joining us at 4:30. 4:45. I got a firm maybe from Coach Kevin Creasy of Oakland. He should be hopefully on the set with us at 4:45. We'll follow that interview with Will Kreisky, head coach at Riverdale. Coach Kreisky battling with his brother. Centennial's head conversation, talking to Coach Kreisky. And, of course, we'll finish that interview up and go straight into they remain solid, only one loss so far. Look forward to talking to Coach Rathbone about his Page program. At the end of the coaches segments, that'll end at 5:30. At 5:30, we'll bring Gary Deering, who hosts Sports Saturday on 93.9 The Duck. He also does the color, so we'll have Gary on with us. He'll be picking big games with us. A lot of big games on tap for tonight, so we'll be discussing all the big games. Always, the show is brought to you by CoachT.com. We appreciate everything Jim Thompson does for us here on the Friday Main Event. I think we're in week 6, guys. The season is halfway over officially after tonight, and I think we'll probably even try to go over our preseason top 10, see what kind of changes, if time permits, what kind of changes we're going to update to our preseason top 10. Some flops and some surprises. So we'll try to revisit our preseason top 10 at some point during the show tonight as well. Again, Friday Main Event coming to you from Oakland High School. Mike Motor here. Always my buddy Lee T to be joining me. We hope you guys will make the Friday Main Event your official stop each week, 4:30 to 6:30. Again, YouTube, Friday Main Event. All right, Lee, back here. You might want to scoot toward me a little bit, buddy. You ain't even in frame. I didn't even realize. We're back here, Oakland High School, Friday Main Event. Mike Motor and Lee Teat. We do this every week, Lee. We have so far, and this week was in question there for quite a while.
Well, I know. We're out here doing this because we love it, and heck, if the kids can get out here and play in it, maybe we can broadcast in it.
Yeah, well, it was rough. And if you're in this area, man, this weather was killer. Lee and I actually pulled this canopy down to where it was about 3 foot off the ground. We were hunkered over the equipment. I'm not exaggerating, folks. We were hunkered over the equipment, trying to keep it dry and just cussing ourselves for not tearing it down 15 minutes earlier. But it all worked out. We missed Coach Eddie Woods. I hate that. We'll try to get him on again within the next week or two. He's one of my favorite guys. I hate it.
Yeah, me too.
Hated. I sent him a text, or I thought I sent a text when it was coming a torrential downpour, and then I realized after we got dried out that it didn't go through. But I did send him another text and apologize. But we'll get him on here shortly. Lee Teat, big games tonight.
Yes, there are.
And start with the one we just talked to Coach Rathbone about, and that's his game. Brian Coleman, his Spartans are 3-2 now. Lee, they beat Spring Hill. They beat White County team that, of course, Coach Rathbone mentioned is in rebuilding phase. They've lost to Indy and they've lost to Knowlesville, a couple of good squads. Now, Page, on the other hand, they beat Fairview, they beat Knowlesville, and they beat Franklin County. Their one loss was to Ravenwood. Quarterback went down.
That's right.
So how do you think this game's going to play out tonight?
Well, we talked a little bit earlier about it. It depends on Cade Walker. I know he got banged up last week a little bit, and then, Coach Rathbone just told us here in the last segment that he's going to try to give it a go tonight. They need him.
Yes, I agree.
Summit won this ball game last year, doubled up on them. I don't see that happening this year. It's at Page.
Right.
If Cade goes tonight and he's somewhat healthy, I like the Page Patriots.
And I don't know if you saw it But the quarterback for Summit last year that transferred to Indy, help me out with that name. At any rate, he threw for over 300 yards last week. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. So I don't
So what the kid that?
to ask him. But at any rate, wow, if they still had him,
Yes.
but they don't. So that's neither here nor there. Of course, Page is without, as we've mentioned several times, Bubba Johnson. So, that as far as playmakers goes, I guess they both have, kind of canceled each other out. But I'm with you. I think if Cade Walker plays, I like Page. If not, I like Summit. That's kind of where I'm at with this one. And according to Coach Radbone, he's going to give it a shot. So I'm going to go with Page.
Well, he said it rained over there, 2:30?
Right.
Maybe their field drained off good, too,
Right.
because if it's kind of sloppy, I think it might favor Summit.
Yeah, I do too.
Their tailback
Yep.
last week had 191 yards on 23 carries.
Right, right.
But I'm still going to go with Page, but I like this in a close game.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You done got me thinking now.
I'm going to go with Page, but in a closer
Yeah, I do
closer game.
too. Page on this one,
Yes,
right?
sir.
This game right here, Lee, I think could be interesting. That's Giles County and Franklin County. I apologize, the screen is dirty where it got rained on, but Giles County, I don't know what to think about that, Lee. You got two really, really good quarterbacks. Now, Bryce Wallace, he's putting up some crazy numbers so far for Giles County. I think he's averaging, I think it's 324 yards a game. But I mean, look at the kid, the kid that come up from Alabama.
Cole Styles.
Yeah, Cole Styles. His quarterback rating is 168. He's 9 of 10, 140 yards and 2 TDs. It really bothers me, and I don't know what you do if you're David O'Connor, but I hate to see that kid sitting, knowing he could probably play for 90% of the teams around here.
Well,
I don't know what the answer to that is.
I don't either, because they're both seniors.
Yeah.
If it was a situation where one was a junior and a senior, you could rotate time.
Right.
Both are seniors. Obviously, Bryce is very familiar with Bo, his brother, at the offensive coordinator.
And I'd say that's the difference.
That's the difference. Coach O'Connor, I think he's going to go with familiarity first.
Yeah.
But Cole Styles, like you said, I don't know what this is doing for him going forward, but evidently he's pretty good. And I think most of these guys, most college guys know, this kid can play at the next level.
Yeah.
They'll give him a shot. It just may be hurting what kind of offers he's going to be getting.
Right, I agree. There's a good young quarterback on the other side of the ball, Nayland Jeans at Franklin County. We talked about Matt McCurry a little earlier. He's playing very well for the Rebels. So this game right here, of course, Giles County beat them pretty bad, 42-14 last year, and but that was at Giles County at the, what do they call that? The Brickyard? Is that right? Does that sound right? They got some name they call their stadium on there.
I can't remember.
I'm gonna go with that. That sounds good. If it isn't, that's what it should be. If it is, that's a suggestion, there, Coach. Yeah. I think Franklin County, Lee. Way I look at this, they played White County last week. Beat them 48-6, and Coach McCurry's got a lot of young talent. Okay, so you got to view that as a 2-week practice period you got in mid-season, because there was no danger of White County beating you. So you were able to get a lot of kids in the game, I assume, last week. So 2 weeks of preparation, does that even the table here a little bit?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think Franklin County's still a year away.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm with you. I'm going with Giles County, but I like what Coach McCurry's doing.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I don't think that Giles County's going to go down there and just walk all over them at Franklin County.
No.
I think it's going to be a couple-score ball game. But I just think Coach O'Connor right now has too much talent at the right position. And I think,
well, that is Tullahoma, and we were there last week, and man, they make a good burger down there.
oh, yes, they do.
Yeah, they you hear that, Creasy? We expect a burger here tonight. John Olive, he actually joined us on set, Lee, and man, I wish I had half the football knowledge that he's forgotten.
Oh man,
Coach Olive's been around a lot of years, and when his peers, Coach Rathbone points to him, that speaks volumes for what he's got from a respect standpoint from other coaches.
right. And I'll tell you what, he's such a class act. He treated us well last week. Every time we're on with him interviewing, he's forthcoming.
Mm-hmm.
He's very honest.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like about him. He just shoots straight.
Yeah.
He's not trying to hide anything. He doesn't do a lot of coach speak. He's just real.
All right.
Tonight they're going to Lincoln County, and we talked about Tim Johnson. I thought that was a great hire by Lincoln County. I do, but I think Tullahoma's got too much for him tonight.
What I'm concerned about, Lee, is Tullahoma has a huge game next week.
Trap.
They got Nolensville next week.
Think it's a trap.
It's a possibility. If you're not careful right here, I mean, their whole season after they've already knocked Marshall County
That's
off, they've got a home game, potentially a region title, resting on that Nolensville game next week. Of course, they still got to play Maplewood, but are the kids kind of looking? This is a non-region. This is a 5A team, non-region game. Do they put as much? Into this game, knowing that Nolan's was next week. Possibility.
Well, it's a real good possibility. I think Coach Olive's been around long enough to know maybe, we got to be careful this week.
Nip that in the bud, yeah.
Like you said, though, he's sitting at 2-0 in the region. That win over Spring Hill. If he gets, if I'm Coach Olive, my goal tonight, I think they can beat Lincoln County.
One game at a time.
You do one game at a time, but if I get up a little bit tonight here later in the ball game, I'm trying to protect Bryson Corn and Fulton. I may try to set them.
Right.
But you got to win this game. You can't just let
Can't
it
lose
here.
momentum.
You
They've got
can't lose
good momentum going now. Yeah, I agree with you. I like Tullahoma on the road. I think they go down to the pit and pick up a road win, Lee. Man, we've been the same on all of them. I don't know if that's good or bad. Stewart's Creek at Shelbyville. I think that's the My TV 30 game tonight. Lee Teat. These two teams usually put up a lot of points when they face each other. 56-32. Stewart's Creek won this game last year. Now they were during that Super 32 experiment. They were in the same region together. The Redhawks have surprised me so far this year.
I've been just puzzled.
Yeah.
Because they are putting points up. The problem is they can't stop anybody.
Right.
Well, Shelbyville can score with anybody, I think, offensively.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. This is really, to me, I think probably most casual fans are looking at this and say Shelbyville run away with this.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to run away with this ball game.
So who do you like?
Man, I'm going to go Shelbyville at home.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go the other way, and the reason why, it seems like Stewart's Creek, I don't know, for whatever reason, Shelbyville always has a hard time with them. Stewart's Creek put up 35 on a really good Cane Ridge team last week. Of course, Shelbyville beat Lincoln County pretty soundly last week. I think if you look at who both teams have played, Stewart's Creek, they had
Cane Ridge.
And they did lose to Overton, maybe a bit of a surprise there. But I think based on what they've seen, each team, I like Stewart's Creek to go down and get a narrow, I guess you would have to call it an upset on the road.
I would call it an upset.
Yeah. Well, all right. We split.
Oh, yeah.
Bradley Central and Ray County. Lee, Damon Floyd's team, 10-3 last year, off to a bit of a slow start, 2-2. They did beat a Cleveland team that I think is down this year. They've lost a lot of talent. I think not necessarily lost to graduation. I think they had a couple of kids that quit. Mm-hmm. But lost to Farragut and they lost to Ooltewah, two really good teams. Farragut's playing lights out. Ooltewah as well is playing good football now. Ray County, Mark Pemberton's team beat Lenoir City, beat Brainerd and Walker Valley. They did lose to McMinn County. Mark Pemberton's son is Zach is leading that offense, and he's looked really good so far.
I think he's averaging 116 yards rushing a game.
Yeah.
It's at Ray County, which is typically that's a football place. But I like Dylan Standifer tonight. I like Bradley Central.
You like Bradley Central?
I do. I think they got a little too much for Coach Pemberton tonight. Standifer's an outstanding player.
Does a wet field help that wing tee? Rhea
Yes,
County
obviously.
wing tee?
Yes, it does.
That's kind of what I'm looking at. Of course, Bradley
I don't
runs
know
a
if they
spread.
got rain there, but
Yeah, that's true. I think I may go the opposite way on this one. I think Bradley Central, most people across the state will pick Bradley Central. I think you made the correct pick here. But, I'm just going to, for whatever reason, I'm going to go to Rhea County. I don't know why. I'm probably going to miss it. I think you're going to get me on that one. But, anyway. Brentwood.
Don't bet on it.
I'm not going to bet on it. Brentwood, I'm not betting on anything. I'd be broke if I bet on football. Brentwood and Nolensville, Lee Teat, the Bruins, Ron Crawford squad. He's got one loss, and the one loss was to a really good Cane Ridge squad by 3 points. He knocked off Ravenwood. You and I think had Ravenwood last week. Scott Chastain had Brentwood.
He did.
And but Coach Crawford's team's playing really well right now, and as is Paul Derrick's Nolensville squad. Who starts? My understanding is Wharton is close to being ready to start, if not ready. So do you pull Ryder Garland, who is playing excellent football? Do you pull him in favor of Wharton tonight? Yeah.
I don't know if I would pull my starter who's 4-1 against Brentwood.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
I know Wharton is a superb athlete. We've seen him.
Number 34 recruit in the state.
He's a superb athlete, but do you really want to break him in tonight against Brentwood?
Yeah.
Coming right out of the gate.
Right.
Maybe ease him into the game, get him a couple reps here and see how he's doing, but Brentwood's going to run away with this ball.
They are too. I said the same thing. I think they are anyway. I ain't going to say run away, but I think they win. You going to say run away?
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking maybe 10 points. You think it's more than that?
Yeah, I think they run away with this. They're very talented.
Yeah.
Very talented.
No doubt. All right, I'll go with you. I got Brentwood as well. Farragut and Knoxville West. Knoxville West not playing as well as I thought they were going to, Lee. They did hang with Oak Ridge pretty close last week, lost 24-21. They beat Halls, they beat Carnes, lost to Hardin Valley, and they lost to Bearden. And I think we had Lamar Brown's team as one of the teams to watch, if I remember right, in 5A. We may have had them in the top 10. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But I got a tough game tonight. Farragut's playing really good football now.
I think so, too. Let me ask you a question about this Farragut squad. Do you think there's potential for them to square up with one of these two teams right here tonight in the semis?
No, because I don't think they'll get through Maryville.
You don't think they got enough to get through Maryville?
I don't think they got enough to get through Maryville.
Buddy, they're playing good, man.
They are playing well. They beat Oak Ridge. They beat Bradley Central really bad, I think, week one. I don't think they're ready for Maryville yet.
Really?
So
I was thinking about that this week, and I thought, that could come. That right there may be the quarter-final game up that
it could
quad.
be. It will. I think it will be. I do expect that to be the true. Yeah, I think so. They'll match with Maryville in that quarterfinal because I think that you're looking at the Region 1 winner here, and I think Maryville wins Region 2. So it's going to filter up to that quarterfinal game and a showdown, and I think it'll be a good game. I'm not saying they'll run away with it, but I think the seasoned team in Maryville will host
because right.
they're the even quad. They'll host. So is Farragut going to go to Maryville Stadium and beat them? It don't happen very often, brother.
Not very often.
I think Alcoa is probably the last team to do it. So
that'll be a good. I'd like to see that ball game, but I like Farragut. I like what Coach Courtney's doing. I think they get the win tonight over Knox
think
West.
so. Kyle Carter's kind of emerged as a leader in the ground game. I think he's averaging 135 yards a game. So they've got a good pass threat with running that spread option, and then of course Kyle Carter playing well. Farragut's going to be a tough out for anybody this year.
I think so.
Admirals. All right. Centennial and Riverdale. Lee, the family feud tonight.
Little brotherly love going on here.
Brotherly love.
I got cracked up when he said they've been lying to each other all week.
Yeah, and we've talked to them about that before, how competitive those two are. Yeah. So having said that, I think Centennial has other than Oakland. Riverdale did play Oakland, but they played Siegel, they played Spring Hill, now East Nashville's a very good team. I'm not downplaying that loss, but that is a 3A team. You look at Centennial, they played Indy, they played Ravenwood, they played Hendersonville, and Cane Ridge.
Pretty tough schedule.
Pretty darn tough schedule. And they scored a ton of points. I think they've given up a lot of points too, though, Lee. That may be the equalizer. They're giving up 40 points a game. So, does that give Riverdale a chance to stay in this game?
No.
No, you don't think so?
I think Centennial goes over there and gets it done tonight. Coach Will Kreisky, who we talked to earlier, I think he's having a little bit of issues with injuries, young line play.
Right.
He's talked about his secondary maybe coming together a little bit, but Jerry Wilson gets into your secondary, you're losing the ball game anyway.
Right. And Grayson Marcel, Lee, is he's in the top 5 in the mid-state in passing as well. The quarterback, that's what we were telling, we were mentioning. You can't really focus on shutting Jarrell down because, Grayson's going to cut you up through the air if you do that.
Right. So I like Centennial tonight. Both these guys are outstanding coaches. I kind of feel a little bit bad for Coach Kreisky over at Riverdale right now because he has faced a lot of adversity this year, and I want to see the coaching staff over there and these kids get past that.
Yeah.
And I think they will. But because I like him, personally I like him. I want to see them do good. But I just don't think they got anything for Centennial tonight.
Well, there's over 100 points scored in this game last year, Lee, and it may be tonight too, according to Will. The field's in pretty good shape despite the rain.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I agree with you. I think the Cougars get it done. Maybe as much as 10-point win, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Right.
All right, Lee, Maryville and Fulton. This will be a good one over if you're on that side of the state. I think going into the season, of course, we had Fulton as our number 1 in 5A. And Maryville, we had them in our top 2 or 3, I think, in 6A. And the Maryville win over Oakland was a big eye-opener to me. I think Alcoa defensively and Fulton defensively are very, very similar. Now, the fact that Maryville was able to put up 20 points on that Alcoa defense kind of has me a little hesitant here.
Well, Coach Black told us his defensive side of the ball was definitely his strength.
Right.
And he's going to need it because I think Maryville does about as good a job as anybody one game prepping.
Right.
That staff over there is very good.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's pretty much the same staff George Quarles had.
Yes.
I think he kept pretty much everybody.
They do a great job of game prep. I don't think their kids ever are unprepared. Can Xavier Malone make a difference in this ball game tonight? The quarterback for Fulton. They're going to have to score some points.
Yeah, I think they will score points, Lee. I don't know if they'll score enough points. I think T. Hodge is going to have a big game tonight. If he can, the way I look at it, if T. Hodge can move the ball on the ground against this team we're fixing to see,
right,
he can move against anybody in the state.
I agree.
This front 7 at Oakland, I guarantee you, can match up against any team defensively. So I think I'm going to go with Maryville on the road in this one. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's probably going to be like a 20-20 type game. I think it's going to be a good. And Dobbs' team, of course, they was my understanding. He had a lot of last week.
Far from here.
Well, it's.
I think Coach to go to Eagle and win this in probably a pretty close ball game.
I think the Double D's have a big game tonight, and the Double D's are Dylan Vassar and Dylan Knight running that wing tee offense. I agree with you, Lee Teat. I think they're able to move the ball on the ground, eat that clock up, win the time of possession, and inevitably win the game.
Right.
All right, we agree. Saudi Daisy and Ottawa, Lee Teat. Saudi Daisy probably the shocker in the whole state for me last week, 17-7 over Steve Matthews' Knoxville Catholic team. How'd that happen?
I don't know.
Because he just sat there and told us, was it last week or the week before?
Last week.
No, I think it was the week before.
Last.
Week before. There's no way we won't be prepared for Saudi Daisy this year. So, is Saudi Daisy better? Because I can't believe that they didn't go into this game prepared, game film when they were ready for this kicked. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think last year he did outstanding.
Philip went to Georgia. Pulling me over Saudi Daisy, just to be quite honest with you. I don't know how that happened, but
They got a good quarterback in Chambers and a good
going
tailback.
with the Owls.
You going with Ottawa?
Woo!
Hey,
Woo!
You might get me on it.
Owls.
I'm going to go Saudi Daisy. I picked against them last time.
And they're going to bite you this time the other way.
The other way.
Whitwell at Polk County, Lee, Randall Bolden. We had him on the Friday main event back in the preseason. I really like Coach Bolden. We need to give him a call. 5-0. His team is averaging 48 points a game. They're giving up 3 points a game. They've beat Lookout Valley, shut them out last week. I think they've already got 3 shutouts, Lee. 47-0 over Lookout Valley last week. I think it may have been the mama that got on me. I think it is. I had a mama got on us. You remember that? we were doing our preview shows, and I had that mama called me out because I was mispronouncing her name, her kid's name.
Yeah,
I don't even remember it. Anyway, I'm off topic here. Anyway, Derek Davis's Polk County team even gives them a scare.
No.
No.
Too much Josh Wingo.
Yeah. I agree with you, Lee. I think Whitwell. I ain't even going to talk about it this game a whole lot.
Yeah. But what about this next week matchup? They go to Trousdale next week. Whitwell.
Yeah. Is it a look ahead?
Is it a trap game?
Is it a trap game?
I don't think so. I
forgot about that.
I think Whitwell's got too many athletes tonight. I still think Whitwell gets it done, but
it may be closer than what you would
closer.
normally think.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go along with that, Lee T. Lee, let's take a quick break here and come back and discuss some more big games. Is that all right with you?
Sounds good to me.
All right, Mike Mulder and Lee T. We're talking big games, and we'll be back right after this. Hello, Friday Main Event fans. We are coming to you from Oakland High School this week as the Oakland Patriots host the Blackman Blaze huge Region 3 showdown. This is 2 top 5 teams in the state of Tennessee in 6A. Should be a great game. We're really looking forward to this one. Our coaches lineup for this week, we'll get things started with Cane Ridge head coach Eddie joining us at 4:30. 4:45, I got a firm maybe from Coach Kevin Creasy, Oakland. Tonight, Centennial's head coach should be an interesting topic of conversation, talking to Coach Kreisky. And, of course, we'll finish that interview and go straight into Page High School head coach Charles Rathbone. And to that success, my buddy Lee T to be joining me. You guys will make the Friday to 6:30. All right, Mr. Teat, we are back here, Friday main event, coming to you from Oakland High School. We got a huge game tonight.
Big ball game, buddy.
Blackman Blaze. You would be hard pressed to go to any ball field, any stadium tonight, I think, and see more D1 talent on the field at once.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let me ask you a question. How many 15-yard personal fouls do you think is going to be in this ball game tonight?
I don't know. It gets a little chippy, doesn't it?
Get amped up, buddy.
Yeah.
I think you got to keep that under control as a coach. I hope the referees don't throw flag after flag, kind of let them play. But I think as a coach, you better tone this down because this is probably is the biggest matchup tonight besides Maryville, Fulton, this one, and Oakland.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. That may be an issue. I would think these two head coaches have addressed that. Is that I don't know what Hatfield looks like. Do you? Was that him that just walked by?
I think so.
I need to get his phone number. I hadn't had him on yet. My buddy Blaze 45 on Coach T. You need to hook me up with a phone number there, brother, if you're watching this, and come by and see us tonight. I'm sure he'll be here. He's the guy that moved my truck for me last year.
Oh, yeah.
At Blackman when I parked on the grass. AD was up there yelling at me, and he came and moved the truck for me. But good friend, and hopefully he'll come up and holler at us. All right, Mr. Teat, where were we? I think we were ready for Pearl Cone at Marshall County, and I thought it was pretty neat that Charles Rathbone, this was the first guy he called out as respecting his ability to coach, and we're talking about Thomas Osteen there at Marshall County, and,
Yes.
and you and I have, said basically the same thing numerous times. I think Coach Osteen, he's one of those. He could take his kids and beat you, and he could take your kids and beat his. He's one of those type coaches. He's real good X's and O's.
Very good.
Unfortunately, I just don't think he's got the horses this year. I think Malik Thompson was a good idea at the time, Lee, when Bryce Wallace transferred. Of course, I think this happened early July, so he didn't have
any time.
He didn't have any time to make a backup plan, and sticking Malik in at the time, and I guess essentially running Wildcat as much as anything, because I know Thompson, I believe he's their leading rusher.
Yes.
So I think that was a good plan, but there's enough game film on them now that they're just not able to overcome that.
Yeah. Do you think sitting at 1-3? Do you think Coach excuse me, sorry. Do you think Coach Osteen goes to maybe a younger quarterback and starts trying to develop him for the years coming up?
I think that's a very real possibility, especially
0-2 in the region.
Right. And this is not a region game tonight, so do you want to take a chance on Thompson getting beat up against this Firebird squad? To me, that would be a prime opportunity to maybe break in a younger quarterback. If I'm Coach Osteen, I'm writing this one off. I know you don't do that. I know that's not the correct thing to do, but I'm writing it off in a sense that I'm going to experiment. I'm going to try some different things because, as I mentioned, I think people are on to the style of offense they're running now, and they don't have a lot of other options. They don't really have a rusher behind Tomlinson that's got any significant carries.
Yeah, and we talked to him down at Shelbyville. He don't have a lot of depth. He's concerned with that.
Yep.
Well, I think now, not having experienced depth is what he was worried about. Well, now's a good chance to get him some experience.
Right.
Let him go play. I don't think there's any way Marshall County beats Pearl Cone tonight, even though it's at Marshall County. I think Pearl wins this game hands down, but I think Coach Osteen is very bright, 42-11
right.
in 4 years. I mean,
been to semifinals, I know 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. And like I said, he's probably one of my favorite X's and O's guys.
Yep.
Just when you watch him play, his teams play, they're coached very well.
Engel Martin brings to mind. He's also a very good one, but like Coach Rathbone said, he's always been blessed with a lot of talent
That's
as well.
Right.
We're talking about putting young players in. If you look at Pearl Cone, they got 2 sophomores, Ivan Dayton and Kendrick Breedlove, that are leading that Pearl Cone Firebird offense. 2 sophomores.
Yep, rushing the ball.
Yeah, they're doing really well. It seems like they're hitting their stride now. They're putting more points. Put up 42 points on our buddy Jimmy Maynard's Cookville team last week, 42-14.
Right.
Avenged that loss they had last year. So
and they beat Giles.
They did. They beat Giles. You're exactly right. So. And their only 2 losses were to ABC schools, MBA and CPA.
Right.
So I think this Pearl Cone team, I don't really, Lee, to be honest with you, I haven't looked at their schedule, but I would be shocked if they lose another game this year. And I'm talking about all the way up to potentially Alcoa in the finals.
I definitely see them probably from the west side of the state making a big run.
Don't talk about my buddy Marty Wheeler like that.
Well, I didn't say they're going to end up there. I just said they're going to make a big run.
It'll be hard for the Chargers of Covington, I think, to sneak up on anybody this year. It's like we told, you're the hunted this year. Remember that conversation?
Oh, yeah.
And so it's going to be a harder path, I think, for the Chargers this year based on what they did last year. So I think Pearl Cone will 100% be ready for Covington when it comes to that game, if it comes to that game.
Right.
Anyway, we're rambling. Pearl Cone wins this game. You going to agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Watertown and Forest Lee, we saw Watertown against Trousdale County. It looked very good. I even talked to some people over there that feel they may be even more dangerous running that Wildcat with Heath Price. Now that Webster went out with the broken collarbone, they may be even harder to defend.
Man, Heath Price is an outstanding athlete. We saw him at the Trousdale ball game. Good-looking young man, too. You know,
yeah.
Athletic build, good-looking. I don't see any way Forrest gets this done tonight. I think Watertown's 5-0. They have beat Trousdale County, Gordonsville, DeKalb, Cascade.
Purple Tigers.
I think Coach Webster gets his job done tonight, probably pretty handily.
Yeah, I think so, too. Smyrna at Cane Ridge, this is probably for the region title, I'm guessing. Should be the two top teams anyway, I believe. 18-13 Overton against Smyrna defeats Overton, last week. Smyrna hasn't really beaten a quality opponent. They beat Laverne, they beat Wilson Central. They lost to CPA and Blackman. Most teams would lose to CPA and Blackman. So I don't know. I guess what I'm getting at, Lee, is even though we thought the Bulldogs coming into the season were going to be really good, they haven't managed to pass any of the tests yet. What about tonight?
No, because like you said, they beat Laverne, Wilson Central, lost to a really good CPA squad and a really good Blackman squad. But Cane Ridge has beat Marshall County, Brentwood, and Centennial. All those, and Stewart's Creek. I think strength of schedule right now favors Cane Ridge in a battle.
Yeah.
I think they're more battle tested. But I think tonight Coach Williams over at Smyrna has a really, really hard time stopping Starling and Norman.
Wow, man, that may be the best two backs, or maybe the best backfield in the state. Jaquez Norman comes over from Milan, and what an addition he's been to that, not only offensively but defensively. He's been a key to that defense. Lee, I agree with you. I think Smyrna's going to be able to score because Cane Ridge hasn't shown the capacity to shut anybody down. Give up 35 to Stewart's Creek, and that's one thing I was going to ask Eddie Woods about when we had him on is, are you a little troubled, that your defense really hasn't played as well as they did last year?
Well, I think Coach Woods, obviously they're working on their defense, but I think he's got enough firepower on offense to just get into shootouts.
Yeah.
And they're proving that they can win them close ball games. They'll find a way to win them. They beat Brentwood close, Marshall County close in overtime.
Yeah.
I like Cane Ridge tonight. I just think too much Starling.
I do too. Springfield and Beach.
It's an interesting game.
It's an interesting game. You're exactly right. This is 4A. The Jackets put it on White House. You goofed up, made me goof up. 47-10.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Last week they knock off White House. They beat Gallatin. They beat, of course, White House Heritage is down. They beat Station Camp. They did lose to Clarksville, Isaac Shelby's Clarksville squad, which looks much better this year. So, having said all that, beach is beach, okay? Anthony Crabtree, you remember me talking about maybe, who was it? Franklin County had essentially a bye week. Had essentially a bye week. They played Hunters Lane. Hunters Lane is absolutely horrible. I don't even think they have a very big roster. 49 to 0. They got a very small roster. They're struggling to even get a team on the field. So I think Anthony Crabtree, who is one of the best coaches in the business, had 2 weeks to work with his team. He's had somewhere lately. Essentially, winning this game. She into it, didn't I?
I think this game's going to be close.
I think it's going to be a blowout.
Bank White House 47-10.
Yep.
But I don't think they can go to Beach and do that.
You want to pick Springfield?
I do want to pick them, but I just don't.
I want to try and talk you out of it.
I
you got to go where you got. Don't let me talk you out of it.
Yeah, you're not.
Come on.
I'm going with the Buccaneers.
Sycamore and our buddy Justin Robinson's squad heading over to White House. Man, he's got one of the best little tailbacks in the state, Lee. He had 252 yards. Tyler Neibel, 252 yards last week. I think he's like maybe second behind. I think he's right behind Harling.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you see this game against White House going?
It's at White House.
It's at White House.
Like White House. Jeff Porter at home.
What? I agree with you, but I really don't have a good feel for this one because
I made that sound like I thought White House going to blow Sycamore out. After last week's performance against Springfield,
yeah,
they got boat raced. White House did 47-10.
right.
They beat Glencliff, East Robertson, and Hunters Lane. Glencliff and Hunters Lane, it's, like I said, those are essentially just a good hard practice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, buddy. I'm going with White House because they're at home, but I don't think this is going to be a big margin of victory here.
I'm going with White House also, Lee, and the only reason why I'm going that way, this game was 42-6 last year. So if they were 36 points better than Sycamore last year, surely to goodness they're 1 point better than them this year.
I think so. But, that Montgomery Central team that Sycamore lost to is pretty decent this year.
Yeah. I guess what I'm getting at is maybe it's a bad matchup. We're talking about a 36-point game last year, and Sycamore were 6-5 last year. They weren't necessarily a bad team, and they got beat by 36 points. So I don't think that there's been enough off with a long-time rivalry game these teams have played for. What Beach trying to get me
saying he can probably
Beach. They beat Station Camp, lost to Blackman. The only loss was to Blackman. We'll see them tonight. Commandos, man, they are for real, Lee.
I think
they're
so.
really good.
I think so.
And then Franklin, the other side of that, Donnie Wells team, struggling again this year, Lee, and they're struggling where they don't need to struggle. They're struggling in region games. They got 3 losses, 0-3. All 3 of them were region losses. They lost to Independence, they lost to Brentwood, and they lost to Ravenwood. I mean, good teams, but you got to win at least one of those to get in the postseason.
That's right. I like Hendersonville tonight. I think it's at Franklin too.
Yeah.
I like Hendersonville. I like what they're doing.
I do too. I just think Hendersonville is better. She's get it done here.
I think so tonight. I think Yellow Jackets. I don't want to say blowout, but it ain't gonna be.
it very well could be. Yeah. Dresden and Peabody, Lee. I really liked this game 3 weeks ago, but I don't know whether they've had a real major injury. Dresden screwed me up. Well, I think it was 3 weeks ago. Lake County game. We had Lake County in our top 5, and Dresden dropped them pretty convincingly. And since then, they've lost to West Carroll, and then they lost to Greenfield. 2 region games. They're 1-2 in the region now. I don't know what's going on.
Neither, but I tell you what's going on with that gold
season, and got a release from the doctors, and he's played every game. He's played really well.
Yeah, real good. I think what he said, 15 touchdowns this year, and 800-something yards.
Yeah. He's on. This is Mount Pleasant.
He is.
He's had a lot of successful seasons there, and 6 touchbacks are punts for him.
Evan Linnell.
I guess a possibility. He's not seen a front
shoulder for Blackman.
I think I want to see that Woody Washington matchup on Trey Knox. They're gonna. I guarantee you they're gonna be head to head. I want to see that.
Cameron Goodrich.
There's a lot of side action I'm gonna be watching tonight, Lee.
Yes.
And that's gonna be one of them. But individual matchups.
I agree.
I want to see that. I guarantee you. I bet you money there's some colleges that's got people out here tonight.
Tons of them.
Yeah. So we may not even have time have room on the sideline tonight, Lee. So we'll have to see how that goes. You better get your press pass out.
That's right.
We're gonna need it tonight. It's gonna be crowded over here on these sidelines.
Well, Mike,
make your pick, Lee.
I'm taking the Oakland Patriots in a fairly close ball game.
I like that pick. This field seems to drain pretty well, Lee. I don't think that's going to be a factor. There may be a little bit of slippage in the run game, but I don't know that benefits either one of them. I got a lot of athletes on both sides of the ball. I'm with you. How much the injuries are going to affect Oakland? kind of stuff. You got a while. Big Joe Dubin come up honking the horn, made us move. But I got to believe Oakland. We picked Oakland #1,
Yes,
right? Did we
right.
not?
Yes.
Preseason. I'm not going to change that now. I think Oakland wins this one, but I agree with you. I think it's less than 10 points. I think it's single-digit win. A turnover here or there could sway it the other way.
There's a lot of athletes out there.
A lot of
tonight.
athletes, yeah. It's going to be a good ball game.
Yes,
I'm anxious
it
to
is.
watch it. Let's go ahead and tear this stuff down, Lee, and get ready to watch the football.
Do it.
Mike Mulder and Lee Teat, Friday main event. Remember, guys, hit that subscribe button for us. Hit the little thumbs up there at the bottom. We can left. Lee, where we going to be next?